Jordie Kern built Seven Eagle Group 14 years ago to help veterans land meaningful civilian careers. But he just recently made a pretty bold move, transforming his traditional staffing firm into Seven Eagle Academy, an online training and marketplace to connect veterans and hiring managers. And that kind of pivot isn't easy. It takes grit, conviction, and the will to bet on a bigger mission. Turns out Jordie's got the same traits as those veterans he serves. I'm Bryon Morrison. Let's get to the leaders list.
Everything is happening through these screens.
How are we getting the most out of that person?
I want to see this thing grow long term.
Amazing story. You have such a unique perspective on that.
Schedule a 2-week vacation.
I applaud those models.
Undervalue.
Secure your digital footprint as well.
Why were they even put in place in the first place?
Only the most adaptable survive. Let's get to the leaders list. Jordie Kern of Seven Eagle Group, welcome to the leaders list.
Hey, thank you so much for having me, man. What an honor. I'm super excited for the conversation.
Yeah, I'll tell you, we've wanted to have you on for a long time because we love what you do with veterans as a recruitment firm. You've been recognized for being great in your industry, but specifically great for veterans, and I just think it's awesome. If you don't mind, I'd love for you just to give us a little bit of an overview on Seven Eagle Group. Sure. And maybe a little bit about your journey. How did you end up there?
You got it. First of all, thank you for the kind words. So yeah, this has been an absolute passion for me. I love that I get to get up every day and do this work on behalf of our vets. I did not serve in the military. My dad did in World War II. My grandfather did. Some high school friends did. And I just felt like, man, there's so many men and women in our country who raise our hands to defend our country and protect our freedom. And I said, man, I want to do my part. And what can I do to help this community? And about 12 years ago, started Seven Eagle Group with this mission of just connecting our vets to great careers, giving them the opportunities that they deserve, not charity, but how can we help more of them get into corporate America, into roles that can really move the needle for these companies that I feel just desperately need good talent. And it's been an incredible match. And this is now 12 years later. We have a team. We're about 30 people. We're a remote operation, but we get to do this every day, and we help thousands of vets every year connect with companies that really desperately need their skill sets and what they bring to the table. So it's been an awesome ride.
Man, I tell you, your enthusiasm is infectious, but I agree with you, right? I mean, even if you didn't serve, you do know what the sacrifice was, and you know what these people deserve. So
no doubt.
Kudos to you for doing it. And I want to talk to you a little bit about how Seven Eagle Group does this. And specifically, I know there's one program that you guys are, really heavily behind, and that's the SkillBridge training program. And so for those of our listeners who don't know about this, if they're running businesses and they're unaware of it, this is it's a gift. Yeah. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so the Department of War launched this program. I think it's about 7 years now, called SkillBridge, and we are one of their providers in this program. And just an unbelievable advantage that it gives to service members coming out, because they are trained to do a great job in the military. They're trained by some of our best leaders, but the military doesn't do necessarily a great job at helping them market themselves to companies and promote themselves and find opportunities. So this program, SkillBridge, enables the service member to be relieved of his or her responsibilities in the military for typically their last 3 to 6 months of duty. On average, it's about 3 months they get approved for, and they can then come to an organization like Seven Eagle Group. And then our job is to get them trained up for this next career when they take off the uniform. So we spend a ton of time helping them. Everything we do is online with them. It's an online academy for 5 hours a day. And in the beginning of this program, we are training them to corporate culture. We teach, first and foremost, we teach them how to identify what's going to be their path. What do they really want to do that they are.
So Jordie, before you jump into that, this is important for everybody to understand, because like me as an employer, I could go be a SkillBridge provider.
Yep.
But But what I love about what you're about to talk about is this is a new innovation for you and how you're evolving Seven Eagle Group, right?
No
So
doubt.
the academy is something that, like, if I were thinking about doing this and I was going to hire to this, I need to be thinking about, like, that's a big lift for me to take on, to start thinking about how do I get the most out of SkillBridge. But I love your innovation on that. So tell us more about the academy, which is separate from SkillBridge. That's
You got it.
if I do SkillBridge through Seven Eagle Group.
You got it. So we can be the middleman, almost the bridge for you to this talent. So the military service members are sponsored by Seven Eagle during their transition. We have about 125 at any given day in our academy. And then we invite hiring companies in every industry all over the country to come in and help us mentor these incredible people, tell them about what it's like to work in sports or music or cybersecurity or construction or aviation, and just open their eyes to all the opportunities that are available to them. And then if you find one of the candidates who you like, you have a good match there, and you want to give them an opportunity for, say, an average of 3 months to come work at your company, almost like a test drive for both sides, we continue to sponsor that service member. And your responsibility is to treat them like any other employee, and to manage them and to give them a good learning experience. And then if they meet your expectations at the end of this, that there could be a permanent job for the service member. So it helps cut down on veteran unemployment, and it gives them opportunity and access to companies that might be harder for them to get into. And it's just an incredible and really smart way to hire talent for your company. It eliminates a lot of the risk of traditional hiring.
Yeah. Yeah. And just the ability to do that. And the government essentially pays them for that period of time to learn from you, be a part of, how to market themselves more effectively. But also when they go and work with the client, they're getting a period there where they're not having to pay salary. They're learning who the individual is and if it's right. So it is a great win-win.
Yeah. I feel the best part about this is it eliminates that risk, right? I've been in recruiting a long time, and it is impossible to predict today if somebody who shows up or applies for a job with a great resume, or they say all the right things in an interview, that person who you hire and have to start paying salary to on day one is going to evolve into that top performer you need. There's thousands of reasons that can get in the way of that being a good match. And it just ends up being very costly and risky to the company I feel, to hire traditionally. With this test drive, and this is not like a college internship program where you're hiring a 20-year-old to get coffee. I mean, some of these folks have 20 plus years of experience in the military doing really high level tasks. And they're basically coming from their standpoint, they're coming to kick the tires on a potential career path for them. And do they like your company? Do they get behind your culture and the mission of the company? And so they're trying to figure it out without the risk, as you mentioned, because they're going to get paid by the military. We're going to make sure they keep getting their salary. From your standpoint, the company's standpoint, to get to see someone doing your job in your environment, and you don't have to trust what's written on probably a ChatGPT resume from a typical applicant. You can see them doing the job, right away, hey, we are a great match and we want to make this a permanent relationship. Or if not, that's okay too. And you've given them a great experience, but you've learned, hey, we're not a good fit for one another. And now we just get you someone else until we get that match for you.
Yeah. So when I talk about Seven Eagle Group, you're obviously going through a lot of change, right? I mean, when you start thinking about typical recruiting firm, you know how to build that and scale it. You've been doing that. You made a pretty big shift going all in on SkillBridge and then all in on this academy. Talk to me a little bit about what that decision-making process was like. What led you down that path to really
It was definitely a scary one.
Throw away something that was really good and working and change it.
I know, it was crazy. We had a successful business as a recruiting agency, like any other agency. except with this focus on military. And then my CEO right now, his name is Tyler. He convinced me. He said, "Hey, let's get out of that business and let's just try to get into this matchmaking business of letting the companies come meet our candidates. Let the candidates meet the companies. I'll build this community online where there's this interaction. So it's not just looking at a resume in a very transactional space." And we basically shut down the recruiting agencies, started this new model. And the way we did it, instead of charging a per hire placement fee, which is the typical recruiting agency model, which I feel discourages companies from hiring a lot, especially because these matches don't always work because you can't predict them. Now we have a one flat fee of $1,000 a month, and companies can hire unlimited veterans from us for that. So we make it super easy and affordable for them. We try to encourage them to bring on more. So they're not only going to save money, even during that SkillBridge test phase, there's no salary or benefits due. So a typical candidate is going to save that company, this entry level, about $20,000 during that 3-month period, because there's no salary, no benefits. If it's a 6-figure type position, it's going to get closer to 50 grand in savings. So we just try to make it affordable because we want more companies to experience the power of a veteran on their teams.
That's unbelievable. How long did it take for your CEO to tell you this and you go, yeah, let's stop making that great big commission every time we place somebody?
I know. Yeah, it was, listen, like anything, running a business, you got your challenges. There are always more challenges than you think on anything, but it's been such a great, I feel, decision. I mean, it takes a little while to ramp up and to get the kinks out and to overcome some of those hurdles that are always going to get in the way of innovation, I guess. But we're the only ones in the industry doing what we do. We present, in addition to this live interaction, we also record little, 30-second video introductions of each of these veterans. So the hiring companies can come onto our site and they can say, "Hey, I need a cybersecurity analyst in Pittsburgh and who is able to do this SkillBridge internship starting in April." And they can see all the candidates and they get to learn about, get to meet them really quickly, almost like a speed dating interview. They get
you've created a dating service for the vets. I love it.
Right. That's what it is at the end of the day. And just you hear someone introduce themselves and you learn about, you can evaluate instantly. Hey, do they sound excited about this career path? How are their communication skills? What's their presence like? What's their energy? And just from that alone, you could make some smart decisions about, yeah, we'd love to interview this guy, or, hey, he's probably not a good fit for us. And you just find somebody who you align with quickly. Go ahead.
It's so interesting when I think about the standard for getting a job is an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, right? And that you can't what you're saying is you can't really encompass an understanding of an individual in that. And I know when I taught at SMU, I would tell all the students, they'd go over their resume all the time. Do you think the resume is right?
Yeah.
And I was like, I think the focus should be on how are you going to stand out? And the resume is the requirement. That's the data, the proof.
Yep.
But I was asking them, are you sending a video? Are you sending them an excerpt from the book that you'd like to write? Are you giving them samples from their best project, the best project you ever worked on? Are you sending that ahead? Are you using AI to show them how you might solve a problem for them in a very short period of time? What is the standout factor? So do you agree that it's not necessarily, today getting hired is tough. So do you agree with outside 100%. Of your platform? Should they be using video? Should they be doing 100%. Things that they go, oh, that's risky?
You said it exactly. Like what you're teaching your students is spot on, because the alternative is to try to play the traditional job hunting game in America, which means going to Indeed or Monster or LinkedIn. Oh, look at that job. That looks interesting. And you're sitting there like a monkey applying to job after job, maybe giving it 10 seconds of thought. And that's not the way. It's too reactive. That's not the way to make a good match for yourself. I would much rather see candidates do what you said, which is, hey, what do I bring to the table? What's unique about me? I'm not going to just send my resume to them via their application site and be one of 2,000 resumes that they receive this week and hope and pray I'm going to be one of the 5 they interview. I'd rather see them. What we teach our vets is how to network, man. Network your way to that job. Go have real conversations with hiring authorities and people in the industry you want to go into, and just ask them for advice, ask them for guidance and mentorship, and just go slow. Don't go right at people. Hey, can you hire me? Hey, can you take my resume? Right? Can you introduce me to your friend? Like, it's like dating. You got to go really slow. You can't rush this, and get to know people and build a network around yourself of executives who are ahead of you working, who are doing jobs you want to do, and let them guide you and mentor you. And that's how you have opportunities. Then show them your school projects and your, all these other great things about you that makes you who you are. And that's how you stand out. I feel that's how most people can get hired today. And they don't, unfortunately.
What do you say to the people who go, well, I don't want to go outside of the typical, I don't want to get my hand slapped for doing it the wrong way.
I know. It's the hardest thing. It's like this fear of being different, I guess, right? And that awkwardness. And listen, sometimes it's not hard. If you're not comfortable, it's your first experience in corporate America. Sometimes it's not easy to go reach out to some VP or a manager, a CEO. But my feeling is it's like, you got to go for it, man. Figure out what you want, what's going to make you happiest in your career and your life. And you deserve this as much as the next guy, and just go for it. Go for it. People are generally very willing to help out and to assist you and to guide you, coach you, if you ask them professionally. Don't go right at them for a job, but just ask for advice. Hey, Bryon, what did you do in your career, man? What if you could do it all again? What would you do differently? Hey, what do you think would be a good path for me? Like, let them take you under their wing. And once they do, that's when the magic happens, because that's when doors start opening. They'll introduce you to buddies. Then they'll pass your resume around. But you gotta get over that hurdle or that awkwardness of asking, and right now you need to ask, right? You might not have much to offer that other person, but hey, networking goes both ways. You get hired a year from now, you're going to be helping people with their career, and you have to be willing to get in that fight and just have there be some rejection, because otherwise you're going to try to compete in this game with the applicants, and it's a tough one. It's really hard.
Yeah. I always tell everybody there's a difference between using technology to find the right job and get that job. That's great. You can do that. But there's also, you're the human part. Right. And so if you introduce yourself and your own brand and how you think and what you do or what's unique about you, and the receiver doesn't like it, then that's probably a good thing too.
It's good. It's great.
You identify that I'm going to go in that environment and I'm not going to like that environment. That might be the case.
You said it exactly. We call it informational interviews, right? Like in the beginning, you don't know what you don't know. But like if you said to me, hey, I want to work as a project manager in construction. I've never done that job. I can guess what I think they do, but talk to 10 project managers in construction. And at the end of those conversations, first of all, they'll be more than happy to guide you and mentor you. If you don't ask them for a job, don't bring your resume, just talk to them. But at the end of those conversations, you're going to determine, man, I really like this career path and I want to do it. And they've given me some great tips on what areas to go into. Or you're going to learn, oh, I don't think that's what I thought it was. Maybe I should look in a different direction. And both answers are valid, but you've shaved years off of your life of doing a job that doesn't inspire you. And that's not a good match. And that doesn't help you or the company. So you want to try to figure out, where am I going to be happiest out of the gate if you can. It took me 25 years for me to find my dream job. I wish I found it sooner, but man, if you can have those conversations and do that soul searching early, that's the home run. And then once you do, the companies are like, oh my gosh, this one is perfect. He loves it. He really is excited about working here. So you're going to interview better. You're going to have more energy. You're going to be more passionate, and you'll get hired faster.
Yeah. So we've talked about Seven Eagle Group. You guys, fantastic organization. The changes you made. I love the innovation around creating community over, just moving the resumes. And so that's awesome. But now let's talk about, based on your knowledge of working with veterans, the types of candidates you're able to bring, what should be on my leaders list? Why should I be thinking differently about veteran candidates than some of the other candidates I might be looking at?
Great question. And from my experience in working with so many thousands of vets over the years, I mean, they bring this toughness, this grit, and I don't care what job they were doing. It could be from, working, as a mechanic all the way up to flying fighter jets, right? Whatever they did in the military, they've been trained by leaders who I have taught them just this grit, this toughness, this not giving up on a project, not giving up, getting that mission done. And if that means getting knocked down a lot, they get back up and they figure it out. And I think those skill sets, that it's hard to teach that stuff to a civilian, right? I didn't really get taught that. I mean, some of those lessons I got through sports and stuff, but when I was young, but man, you talk to some of these folks and you might think like they had a menial job, but then there's like, hey, if I screwed up in my job in checking the munitions on the plane, people died if I got it wrong. And like that pressure, that professionalism that they bring to that job, I just feel they have these soft skills that's hard to teach. And you could teach that, like a good company with good managers, they'll teach them how to do the job of that. Whatever the job is of that company, you could teach anyone, but it's hard to teach that foundational stuff,
Yeah, grit is one of those things that's difficult for a lot of people to define, much less put into some sort of an assessment for when they're evaluating people. So if you look at what people have gone through in the military, grit is one of the byproducts, right?
No, there's no doubt. And sometimes the veteran, they don't do a great job at communicating that on that resume, on the sheet of paper. And that's hard. And that's why I'm not a big resume guy. Like I said, we get them on video. We try to get the hiring managers to interact with them. And then when you do that and you find someone who has that passion, that excitement for that career path, man, it's super exciting to watch that and very rewarding. And it makes the hiring manager's job so much easier, because some of the best candidates we've had come through our academy, they had mediocre resumes. Like I could see why they would get rejected after rejected, because the resume didn't convey who they are, and we try to get them to have these interactions with the hiring authorities, and it makes
that's what I love your videos, the short videos that you do for each one of these candidates. And give us a couple of examples of just where, that example you just gave, resume versus fantastic candidate, and people couldn't see it.
Yeah, you can't. It is crazy how the recruiting process has not changed in like 100 years. It's like submit a resume, and like I don't want anyone evaluating me in 10 seconds looking at a resume, and all of a sudden a 20-year career, they're making a decision to hire or reject. But when they can interact and see that passion, man, it is such a game changer. I was on with one of our Navy veterans a little while ago today, and earlier today, and she wants to work in the medical field. And her resume is like any other person who wants to work in the medical field. It's just sort of just like all curriculum, the story of what she's done. There are thousands of people who have that similar type story, right? But then I was like, why do you want to be in medical? And she starts telling me the story. She's like, when I was 13, my mom passed away. And ever since then, I've just wanted to help people. I don't want people to go through and she started telling her story about why she wants to work in medicine, with such passion. And I was like, man, if you just say, get someone to listen to you, get someone on the receiving end to hear you talk about your passion for that career, and you will have hiring managers lined up to bring you on board, because you're not just a resume like the typical applicant. Oh, why do you want to work here? Well, I spent 18 years working there. I have lots of experience. I've managed 12 people. And it's like, oh my God, can it be more boring? I want to hear really why is this your calling, you know? And anyway, we try to convey, that's what we train a lot of the vets, to pull them out of them what they really want to do, you know?
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about, we get why we should have this on our leaders list to consider and think differently. I think SkillBridge is something to at least evaluate and consider and operate differently. But is there anything else, you know, if I'm listening to this right now, I've gotten great information, what should if I'm going to hang up, I'm going to stop watching this and then I'm going to go do something. Yeah. What's the first thing I should do if I'm really serious about this, or if you struck a chord?
Yeah, I would say if you're considering, like, hey, I would give a military vet a shot. I would say just try it. Give these men and women a chance. They deserve it. They've earned it. They're not asking for charity. They just want someone to crack the door for them to say, let me prove this to you. Not a traditional hire where you have to start paying right away, but watch me. Watch me in action. Give me a chance. Let me work for you for 30 days, 90 days, and you will know instantly if we are a good fit or not. And I'm telling you, once you do, you will find that if you get the right hire in that spot, that person will do the work of 2 or 3 people. And that's what you want to build a great company. I feel you need a great team around you that is perfectly aligned. You know, too often I see in corporate America, you know, because I talk to a lot of CEOs, I'm like, how's your team? Like, well, they're average. You know, most of them are average. They're doing their job. Leave them alone. I don't want to bother. Right. But I'm like, why do you want to settle for mediocre when you can have the best? Why don't you want just the superstars working for you? And sometimes it's hard with the way we hire today. We don't get a chance to see each other in action. And if you can get that initial phase, that initial 3-month getting to know you phase out of the way without the risk for both sides, man, the end result will be better for everyone.
I love it. I'm going to ask one specific question. Are there specific roles that I should be thinking about? Like any categories, from management to execution, like where do you see some immediate success that I can go in?
Great question. So we probably about 30% of our vets want to go are tech experience. Like they have cyber, they have tech, networking, admin. They're because that's such a heavy, such a popular job in the military. So anything tech related, we're very strong there. Anything forward facing, like sales rep, client facing, where you need people who are just going to represent your company really well, and you can count on them to be on time and be, trustworthy and professional. Any forward facing roles are great. Obviously, anything that's, jobs that are done in the military, like aviation or, trucks, ships, planes, anything that they're currently doing, those always align well when they want to do those same jobs. Project management, construction, real estate, but it's sales do really well. Anything, we have tons of service members who want to be remote. So if you have anything remote, anything that can be done from home, we have some really, really talented folks who will take a haircut in what their salary is for the opportunity to be at home. Maybe they've been away for 20 years serving our country. Their family has taken a sacrifice and they missed out on a lot of that. And now they want to, hey, I want to be home with my kids. I'll work, but instead of needing $100,000, I'll do this job for $60,000, because for that flexibility in their schedule. So there's some great opportunities there for companies who can benefit from that sort of candidate.
That's great. That's great. Jordie, I can't tell you how much we appreciate you being on the leaders list. I love what you're doing with 7 Eagle Group, and we probably didn't put enough time into it, but the guts it takes to step away from the traditional and that works, and then do something new. Really impressive, and we appreciate you sharing some of the things that you've learned in that process.
Thank you so much. This was so fun talking to you, and I appreciate you invite me on the show. I'd love to have you come on to our academy and share your story with our vets anytime, and whatever we can do to promote the leaders list. So what a great platform that you're providing out there to business leaders. So thank you so much.
We appreciate that. That's great. Thanks, Jordie. All right.